Welcome back to Public Affairs on Peach. Do you have a green thumb, or are you like our producer who couldn't grow mold in her refrigerator? Well, we've got some great advice, some free advice for you from our next guest. Welcome, Abra Lee from the UGA Fulton County Extension offices. Abra is the Agricultural and Natural Resources Agent. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
I tell you, this display is fabulous. Tell me what all you have here.
All right, so what we have here is what it takes to build your own container garden.
Okay.
And all that is a container that you like, some soil and some compost, so about 50-50 mixed together for your container, the plants that you want for your container, and then just a little bit of water. That's what you're going to need.
Okay, now how do you choose the right planter?
So the right planter would mean that you have a hole in the bottom to drain out water, and then you're going to want to choose the right planter for your space and for the size of the plant. So in terms of plant size, if it's a bigger plant, you want to make sure that it can fit in the pot and then still have about an inch or two to grow.
Okay, now you're planting in sunny, shady area. How do you know which plants to get?
So the way you know that is that you would go to your nursery and then say, hey, I have a shady area or I have a full sun area. So sun-loving plants in the sun, shade-loving plants in the shade.
And I heard something that I would never think of, but only one color per garden?
One color per garden room. So that's the thing. Yeah. Sometimes, in most cases, if you don't know what you're doing, just stick with one color per room.
That's me.
Yeah.
Don't know what I'm doing.
But you can mix the colors up.
What are the easiest plants to fill your space with?
The easiest plants to fill your space with is something that's going to be maybe more low maintenance. So what I consider low maintenance is something that you really like. So if you really like the plant, you're going to take care of it. So it's not just necessarily always a water issue with the low maintenance. It's what are you going to show up for?
Now what about vertical planting and small spaces?
Sure. So in small spaces, this is a perfect example here. What you want to do, instead of growing your plants out, you want to go up with them, and you want to use your space up and down.
So where would you put this? In a corner?
Absolutely. Yeah, you could put it in a corner. You could do it on a patio. If it was even interior, you might want to use some interior plants instead. This is a nice example of just a very tranquil area. You got your blues and your whites, just very, very peaceful colors there. And then also playing off of the design on the ladder.
And talk a little bit about those color expressions, what that is.
So there's pretty much three categories for color. There's your neutrals, which is like your browns, your grays, your chartreuse, those type of things. And then you have your cool colors, which are blues and purples and pinks will be more cool. And then you got your warm colors, which are your red, your oranges, and your yellow.
Could you tell I like the pinks and the
purples? Yeah, I can.
So you've got something in the front. What would you do with that?
So what you can do here, so a lot of times with color, people just don't know what to do, or they get overwhelmed. You go in the nursery, there's so many choices. So what you can do is take a piece of colored paper with you and maybe have it of the color of what your room is, or whatever container you want to use, or whatever your patio looks like, and take it with you. And then when you're going through the nursery, take a picture or just a piece of each plant and compare it to that piece of paper. And once you do that, you can see if it clashes, if it works, and that'll help guide you without feeling so overwhelmed.
And you've got some other things, some cute little glass like marbles, some what would that be for?
So that is for your mulch. So you can either do a wood mulch, a pine bark mini nugget, or you can do pebbles, you can do granite. It just depends. It's a preference there with your mulch. And
why do you need it? Why do you need mulch?
Yeah, sure. So you need it to help retain the water in your planter. So inside, you may not want that pine bark mini nugget. You may want to use a pebble or a granite.
Oh, wow. And care and maintenance. That's what worries me, because everybody doesn't have a green thumb.
Right. That's right.
So what do you do when you just get something, you can tell it's getting brown or it's a little, do you pinch off? We always talk about pinching off leaves. And
yes, you sure do. So when you have what we call a spent flower, so what that means is that the flower's already bloomed and you want to encourage more growth, you would pinch off that flower that is already bloomed. And then also in terms of watering, because these are smaller pots, I can just lift it up to see if it's got the weight.
Water in it. Mm-hmm.
Right. And if it's not, heavy enough, then I know I need to water it. You can also get your soil and you can just pinch it. And if you see water coming out of it, you see that water? Then it's wet. I don't need to touch it.
Oh, wow. Okay. So there's some great ideas, some great plants here these are for spring, summer?
Yes. So these are all summer plantings for a summer garden.
All right.
Yep.
Great job. Thank you so much. And Abra will be back with some more tips on gardening. But as we promised, Kristen's going to join us again, this time with a quick lesson on canning. How you can keep those great tastes of the summer with you all year round. We'll be right back.